Hello everyone, we are from TCP6114 and we are group 4. My name is Gavin and my teammates are Toshit Chen and Andrina Lim. Today, we will be presenting our computer programming final project where we develop a student budget tracker. This system is designed to help students manage their income and expenses more effectively. Okay, why did we choose student budget tracker as our project title? We chose this because many students struggle to manage their money and often do not track their spending properly. Our system helps students record incomes and expenses, manage transactions easily, and analyze their financial records. With better financial awareness, students can make better financial decisions and control their spending more effectively. Moving on to program structure, we use object-oriented programming, which also known as OOP, to make the system more organized and easier to maintain. Our system consists of two classes and one main function. First is the transaction classes. It is used to handle a single transaction records, including all its attributes, like it record all the data inside the transaction record. Second, the budget manager class handles the main logic of the system, such as adding, viewing, searching, editing, and deleting the records. So it basically controls the menu and the user interaction between the system. For the header file, we include 7 libraries to support different functionality. This library allows us to handle input and output, store data dynamically using vectors, read and write the file, format table outputs, validate user input, and sort the transaction record. So when all these libraries combine together, it helps to ensure the system runs smoothly and safely. Moving on, we'll move to the transaction class. This class represents one single income or expenses record in the system. Each transaction stores important information such as date, time, category, amount, and description. This helps us keep all transaction-related data and function well organized. Okay, this is what I mentioned just now. It shows the private data member in the transaction class such as ID, date, type, category, amount, and description, which all in the different type. So by declaring them as private, we prevent the data from being accessed or modified directly. This follows the concept of encapsulation, which improves data security and program reliability. Now moving on to the constructor. Okay, basically what is constructor? It is a special function that is automatically called when an object is created. So it's used to initialize the transaction attributes with value provided by the user. This ensures that every transaction object is created with complete and valid data. So if the data is private, we need to use getters. What is getters? It is used to access the private data members safely. Instead of accessing the variable directly, the program uses getter function to retrieve the values such as date, time, category, and amount. This helps maintain encapsulation and keeps the data control. So basically, we cannot direct access to the data. We need to use this getter function to retrieve the data. Yeah, now moving on to sectors. When we use getter to retrieve the data, the sectors is for we to edit the data, like modify the private data members in control way. They are mainly used when we edit a transaction record, such as updating the data, and this ensures changes are made safely without breaking the program logic. Now the function in transaction class with display row is used to display a single transaction in a format table row. Also, basically, we align the data properly using formatting function, making the output easier to read, and this improves the user experience with viewing multiple transaction records on the screen. Now I will talk about do fast string function. It's used to convert the transaction data into a string format for fast storage. So we need to store the data in the TXT file. This function can help us to easier save the record into a TXT file. When the program runs again, the data can be read back and reconstruct correctly, ensuring the data persistence. Now I will pass my presentation to my next teammate, Jialing.
Now, I will start by explaining the Budget Manager class, which is the main class of our program. In the code, the Budget Manager class is responsible for controlling the overall workflow of the student budget tracker. It manages transactions, validates user input, processes dates, and handles file input and output. By grouping all related functions inside this class, the program follows object-oriented programming principle, making the code more modular, organized, and easier to debug. Next, I will explain the private data members of the Budget Manager class. In the code, these private data members store important internal information such as a dynamic container, usually a vector, used to store all transaction records, as well as variables used for calculations, including totals and balances. In addition, the class contains a file name variable set to budgetdata.txt, which is used for reading from and writing transaction data to a file. This allows the program to save user records permanently and reload them when the program starts. All these data members are declared as private to enforce encapsulation. This means they cannot be accessed or modified directly outside the class, preventing unintended changes and ensuring data integrity. The file name is kept private so that file access is controlled only by the Budget Manager class, reducing the risk of data inconsistency. Access to these private data members is managed strictly through public member functions, ensuring safer and more reliable program execution. Next is the getValidateInteger function. In the code, this function is used whenever the program expects an integer input, such as menu selections. It reads input using cin and checks whether the input is valid. If invalid input is detected, such as characters or symbols, the function clears the input buffer using cin.clear function and cin.ignore function, then prompt the user again. This loop continues until a valid integer is entered, ensuring the program does not crash due to invalid input. The getValidateAmount function is used to validate financial values. In the code, this function ensures that the amount entered by the user is a valid numeric value and greater than 0. If the input is invalid or negative, an error message is displayed and the user is asked to re-enter the amount. This function guarantees that all stored transaction amounts are meaningful and suitable for budget calculations. Next is the getValidDate function. This function ensures that the date entered by the user follows the correct format and represents a valid calendar date. The code checks the value such as day, month, and year to prevent impossible dates. By validating the date at input level, the system ensures consistency when sorting, storing, and displaying transactions. After validating the date conversion function is applied. In the code, this function converts the date into a standardized format or a numeric value. This makes it easier to compare dates when sorting transaction or passing data from files. Date conversion simplifies internal processing while keeping user input readable. Next, I will explain the file passing function. When the program starts, this function opens the data and reads it line by line. Each line is treated as a string using a string. The code extracts individual fields such as date, category, description, and amount, then converts them into transaction objects and stores them dynamically. This allows previously saved data to be restored accurately when the program is reopened. The select category menu function displays a predefined menu for the user to select a category based on the type, either income or expense. The user chooses a category using an integer input which is validated by getValidIn function, and a switch statement maps the number to the corresponding category string. The function then returns to the selected category, ensuring consistent and error-free data entry. Next, I will explain the constructor of the Budget Manager class. In the code, the constructor is automatically executed when a Budget Manager object is created. Its main role is to initialize data members and load existing transaction data from the file. This ensures that the program starts in a ready state, with all previously saved data already available. Finally, I will explain the file handling function. This load from file function is responsible for writing transactions data into a file. The code opens the file in write mode and saves each transaction in a structured format. When the program ends or data is updated, this save to file function ensures all records are stored permanently. This allows the student budget tracker to support long-term usage across multiple program executions.
Thank you, Jialing. Next, I will explain the core feature of our Budget Manager class. This class is the heart of our student budget tracking system. First, the system allows users to add a new transaction where students can record their daily expenses or income. Then, users can view all transactions, include sorting and filtering so that they can easily analyze their spending patterns. In addition, the system supports searching transactions by type or category, making it easier to locate specific records. Users are also able to edit existing transactions if they make mistakes and delete transactions that are no longer needed. Overall, this core function ensures the system is fully support basic financial record management for students. After that, let's move on to use menu input handling. To ensure valid user input, we created a function called getMenuChoice. This function internally calls a private validation method called getValidInt, which restrict the user input to a range between 1 and 6. By doing this, the system prevents invalid choices and avoid unexpected errors during the execution. This approach improves system reliability and provides a smoother system experience. Now, let's look at the main function. Here, we created a budget manager project named APP. This object allowed the main function to access all the system features such as adding, viewing, searching, editing, and deleting transactions. We also declare an integer variable called choice, which stores the user's menu selection throughout this program. Okay, next, to keep the system running continuously until the user decides to exit, we do a do-while loop. This loop ensures that the menu is displayed at least once and will repeat until the user selects option 6, which is the exit option. This structure is suitable for menu-driven program because it allows repeated interactions without restarting the system. Inside the loop, the system displays the main menu interface. The menu clearly lists all available options, including adding transaction, viewing records, searching, editing, deleting, and exiting the system. Clear formatting and numbering, making it easier to user to understand and choose a desired action. After displaying the menu, the system retrieves the user's choice using getMenuChoice. Because the input validation is applied here, the system only accepts valid menu option. This prevents crashes and ensures the programs flow correctly to the next step. Next, the system processes the user's choice by using a switch case structure. Each case corresponds to a specific function in the Budget Manager class. For example, selecting option 1 triggered the add transaction function, while option 2 displays all the records. When a user selects option 6, the system displays a goodbye message and prepare to exit. This structure control flows and makes the program easy to read, maintain, and debug. Finally, the loop ends when the user chooses option 6. At this point, the system exits gracefully, ensuring all the operations are completed properly. This concludes our system demonstration where we showcase how the budget managers operate from the menu input to execution. Now, let me demonstrate how this system works. So firstly, it will sort a student budget tracker menu from 1 to 6 and ask you to enter choice. So in this case, I want to add new transaction. So I enter 1 inside this. After that, it will show an enter date and ask you to input the date. So in my case, I will just put any date, and then it will shows up select transaction type, which is income or expenses. I want to put in income, for example. So I will just put in 1, and then it will show up income categories, which is 1 to 5, pocket money, part-time job, scholarship, cash gift, or others. So I want to choose pocket money, which means my income is from pocket money. So I just put in 1. I want to say let's say 500. So I just put in 500 ringgit, and then I will enter description bao. Okay, then the enter amount 500 ringgit, and then the description is ang bao, and then entry is added successfully and the ID is 7. Next, it will still showing up the menu like just now, and you can choose any number from 1 to 6. If you want to add new transaction, you just put 1. If you want to view all records, you just enter 2, just like this. And then to view all months, you can just put in 0. You can filter by type also, which is either income or expenses. For my case, I want to view all, so I just put in an all. and sort by, I don't want to sort. It can sort. If you want to sort, you can sort by date or amount. But in my case, I want no sorting, so I just put in 1. So this one is my output for filtering. So just now I put in ang pao 500 ringgit. 12th of February 2025. So yes, you can see it, and then I can actually see the total income is 1388 and my total expenses is only 20 ringgit. You can also see a net balance from this side. After that, you can still see the menu that we saw at first. You can also search by category, for example. So let us try for this one. Okay, select transaction type to search. So just now we put in income, right? So in this case we also put in income. So this one is income category. You can choose 1 to 5 also. So it asks us to select category from 1 to 5. Just now I put in pocket money, right? So now I want to, for example, I want to choose for part-time job. So I just put in 2. Okay, waiter 100 ringgit. Previously I put in my income inside this system, so it show up part-time job description waiter, how many ringgits, it's 100 ringgits. So when I search by category, which is income from part-time job as a waiter, I have earned 100 ringgit and I put in this amount into this system. So if I want to edit a record, for example, my salary for a part-time job is 50 ringgit only, not 100 ringgit. So I can just put in option 4. Let's assume that I don't know what time or what date when I put in the info. So I will just put in 0. Okay, I want to search for the income because I say I want to edit my income. Just now I say I want to edit my salary info from a part-time job waiter. So first they ask me to enter ID. So my ID I want to edit is 3, ID 3, enter the date. Okay, select new type. Okay, this one also income, so we just put in 1, and then income category part-time job, enter new amount. So I just now I say, right, my salary for part-time job waiter is not 100 ringgit, it's just only 50 ringgit. So I just put in 50 ringgit. Edit description waiter, record update successfully. Let's see if really got update successfully or not. So we just view all record. We just search into 0 for all months. Okay, income only, no sorting. So my income edited from 100 ringgit to 50 ringgit. Next, I want to delete a record. Okay, so we just put in 5, and then we can select any ID to delete. So let's say I want to delete my ang pao. Because I use all my money, I want to delete my ang pao, my pocket money ang pao, 500 ringgit. Put 7 to delete, and then they will ask confirmation message like this. Are you sure you want to delete ID 7? Yes or no? So if I put yes, it will just delete for me lah. So then we can check again. We can put into 0 for all month. I want all, no sorting. Okay, see, just now we got ID 7, right? Now there's no ID 7 in this case already because I already delete it. So after this, I want to exit this student budget checker. So I will just enter 6, not 7, not 8. Only can input 1 to 6. Other than that, they will just ask you to re-enter the valid number. So I enter 6. It will show up exiting program. Bye. And that's all from us. Thank you.